The maintenance of the canals and the towpaths have become an issue, especially within the confines of a metropolitan hub like Manchester. There are numerous initiatives to maintain the canals, be it community initiatives like the Ancoats project that receives support from the Canal and River Trust, the CRT, and has outreach programs on social networking sites like Facebook, or endeavors run by the Inland Water Association. In this video and the next, we look at both those organizations as well as NTCS, a youth volunteer drive that is looking to make the canals a more attractive option to a younger generation.
But you're gonna need your gloves. There you go. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Right. Okay. Try that. I think a lot has changed in particular places, like in particular along the Rochdale Canal, right on Coat Street. Before I joined the group, I heard that was where this whole kind of project started, was right at that corner of the Rochdale Canal and Great Anchor Street. And I heard it was a very, very undesirable area. It was really very dirty, just not pleasant to be around. And that is really improved a lot. I mean, it's quite nice. They have seating out there now that I think the council put in. So yeah, I think there have been a lot of improvements. I mean, there are still sections a bit further out like this one that are a bit more wild, and that's fine. But we have the continuous problem with litter, so that's why we did a litter pick today, and you saw how much we got. So because we have no rubbish bins and because there is a problem with people littering, the canals are just one of those spaces that unfortunately just gets hit really hard from a rubbish perspective. So yeah, we always have to continuously do litter picks.
Can they not have rubbish bins put up anywhere along the...
Yeah, we've asked.
Do you have a specific reason why they're not doing it?
They have to maintain them. They'd have to come empty them. They meaning either the council or the Canal and River Trust. Resources are in short supply everywhere. The Canal and River Trust is a charity, so nobody's got a lot of money to do more maintenance work. I mean, if anything, things are being cut, monies to maintain. So if you add more rubbish bins, it means you need to hire somebody to come and actually empty them.
The person you hire, you have to do it.
Exactly. Yeah, so there isn't one rubbish bin anywhere on this stretch of canal between here and the stadium. There used to be one right here before this tunnel, before this bridge. Okay. And I think it got burned. Somebody lit a fire in it. I heard, I don't know for sure, but I heard the council took it away because it might have been one that the council had put in and they didn't replace it. So now we have not one rubbish bin between here and Sport City.
So you can do what you can to clear it up, but it only lasts that long.
Yeah. Well, and
Doesn't
so
stay long at all.
yeah, I mean, Stuart does a lot of litter picking in his own time on the Rochdale Canal. And
how long have you been doing it?
Well, I've only been doing it since March, April. No, maybe April, May, when I discovered the group. But I just recently moved back to Manchester, and it's a way of meeting people and getting involved in the community and things.
Has a lot changed since you saw the canals? Since you have, been around?
It's gradually improving, and actually I think there's more and more people becoming conscious of the need to it, and also they're a real amenity for the community as well. Is getting the people there to realise that there is this amenity here that they can use. Too many people don't feel they own the public spaces and that it's really there for them to enjoy, and they're not concerned about it, and they should be concerned about it. And it's why I feel myself that the community is becoming more mixed. We'll get more people interested and will lead to greater pride in the environment and improvements.
Do you think that awareness and sense of responsibility is why the canals are becoming cleaner?
I think that it's a long-term thing. I think that what happened was there were a group of enthusiasts who started to restore the canals right back in the 1960s and 70s, not in Manchester, in other parts of the country. And gradually that idea of restoring the canals so people could use them for leisure facilities and boats and things like that spread. It's easier in the countryside where the canals are going through beautiful places to do that. When it's coming through a city like Manchester, then it's not as popular in some ways. And so and also the problem is bigger in cities because there's many more people dropping litter, many more people putting in supermarket trolleys and old bikes and things like that, and not taking care of the place. And but I think that it's definitely improving. And I think the change from the old British waterways to the Canal and River Trust has been a very good thing, because when it was British waterways it was like a nationalised industry, and people only went and did their jobs and then they went out at 5 o'clock and they didn't bother to do it. Now it's volunteers who are motivated to do something, and we get a lot of improvement within the canals. Is that all right?
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Come in all colors.
There's some stuff here as well. I don't know.
You know what a government quango is?
No, sorry.
It's basically a government department, so it was actually quite difficult to get sustainable funding. So the idea of making it into a self-contained charity was that it meant that the charity had a known amount of funding, so it was unable, and it was also able to go and raise funding and even borrow if it needed to against its assets to give it a more stable base, and also to obviously be away from the pressures and the constraints of government into an individual organisation, giving it the ability to grow and to engage people like volunteers and communities.
And as far as the canals go, has a lot changed in the last 10 years?
10 years, yeah, enormously. If you were to look where we're standing now, actually some of these buildings are quite dilapidated now, but you would have found a lot more dilapidated buildings. You would have found that the Canal and River Trust, when it was British Waterways, as the government quango, didn't have the resource or the manpower to maintain it, and you would have to say is that canals were in decline. That was 10 years. That began to improve a little bit, but it's dramatically changed in the last 3 years because they're able to identify the priorities of where they should put the work in, so therefore they can put the resource in, but they know what money they've got so they can then plan it. And so you'll see now that it's become more friendly, it's become more a place where people want to go. And another example, where we're standing here on the Ashton Canal, this is the benefit of something like 1.3 million funding for Transport for Greater Manchester. So there's this quality of towpath now all the way from here to Ashton, so that means that people can walk, cyclists can cycle, they don't fall into potholes, they don't get wet feet, so it's actually more friendly.
And do you think the city has helped, the growth of the city and the growth of the city towards the canals have helped?
Oh yeah, very much so.
Keeping it clean.
One of the other reasons that we've been successful and continue to be successful is partnership working. And I just mentioned the funding of the Ashton Canal, Transport for Greater Manchester, one example. Manchester City Council, another example. In fact, the festival we ran in the marina 6 weeks ago, that was actually funded by the Regeneration Fund in East Manchester. I think it's called Pride of East Manchester. So it's an example where both local authorities and other organisations. That mill over there is run by a charity called Murphy, and
That one.
and they
Is it that one though?
yes, yeah,
the
that
red
one
brick
there,
building?
yeah, the one with
Okay.
the red stairs, the iron stairs you can see coming down. They actually come out and help us do things on the canal. They engage with other companies. We had the Manchester Buddhist Society out here with them. about a year ago, and they just hope to tie it up. In fact, you can't see it very well now, but right up by that bridge on the left-hand side, there is actually a vegetable patch,
Okay.
and plants grow there. And do you know that the really nice thing and amazing thing about that is it doesn't get trashed. People leave it alone and say, look, it's there for you. If you want to take away the plants and the fruits, then do so.
But they leave the vegetation as
Yes, they do.
Careful.
So to answer your question, it's all about partnership working. And everybody does a bit, and the more that everybody chips in, then the more chance there is. And of course, one of the key things to that is engaging communities.
And what about the public dustbins? Have you all tried getting the councils putting dustbins around?
Yeah. Two issues we have is one is access points.
Or
Because
for the garbage disposal box to go.
and then it's all right putting bins in, but how do you get them emptied? And unfortunately, they do get misused, so they get filled up with things that you don't want to get them filled up with. And it really is, it's a constant ongoing battle as to how many do you have, where do you have them, as I say, and how do you empty them. We always want more.
And given that you have been working on this so long, have you noticed how the buildings have changed? How real estate is now more valuable on the canals and things like that? Do you think that's only because industry has stopped, like factories have stopped using the canals, or is it just because the city is going towards it?
Yeah, well, there's all sorts of things there. It's quite a complex question to answer. But if we go back to the origins of the canal, it was, of course, in fact, sometimes the only means of transport for the industries, which is why they grew up. So it brought their raw materials in, and it took their finished products out. With the demise of industry, buildings went into desolation is probably the wrong word, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Became derelict, became unusable, and it's only in the last 5 years, I would guess, when there's been significant money investment and developers that have changed the mills into habitable apartments for
So
young professionals working in Manchester.
So it's basically it's a cohabitation.
It's
The
a what,
canals
sorry?
it's a cohabitation. The canals are clean there for, people live on it. People live on the boats. They live in building spaces.
Yeah. And yes, you're right. It's all those things put together, and people do find it a pleasing environment to live and work and spend time in.
What's your name? Are you cleaning up the canals?
Yes, and got a litter picker, and we've been doing some litter picking up here, and it's going well. We've got nearly a full bag.
Alright, that's great. Are you doing this for first time?
Pardon?
Are you doing this for first time? Are you cleaning up the canals?
Oh, we do this quite often because it's right outside our house.
Alright. Do you like doing it
I do.
with your brothers?
Yes, I've got two brothers. They also enjoy doing it.
Can you introduce them to me?
Yeah, that's that. And then just over there with my mum and dad, that's Jacob.
Alright. What about you, Ja? Do you like cleaning up the canals?
Just a little bit.
Little bit. Not your favorite thing to do. Yeah. So do you play around this area much?
Yes, we go on cycle rides just up there to Phillips Park.
Oh, alright. Is it down the road?
Yeah, it's nice to clean up this place because we
Use it quite
cycle on it.
often.
Yeah, we cycle on it often.
Alright. So,
Nice cycle ride.
and it's a nice day to clean up too.
Yeah, it's really warm and sunny.
Here comes the other one. Hi! How are you doing? Good. I've seen that you're cleaning canals right now.
Maybe. Maybe.
So, are you enjoying yourself?
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you.